So I will introduce about the Nintendo statue. So the Nintendo statue is a large bronze statue of Emperor Nintendo, who is the founder of the dynasty and also the founder of Hanoi City, we can call Hanoi now. So in the February 2003, the Hanoi Department of Culture and Information held a competition to design a statue of Nintendo. And a sculptor Diva of the Vietnam Arts, Fine Arts Association won the competition, which include 29 other in charge. And the statue was made in August 24 and erected in October 2004. It is the largest bronze sculpture in Vietnam. The statue weight is 12 tons and is placed on a 20 tons stone pedestal, and it is 10.10 meters high. And the little right hand holds the 九嘴洲, or is free to move the capital to Thăng Long, and his left hand point to the location where construction will begin. And the statue was decorated to celebrate the 50th anniversary of Hanoi's liberation, and is buried by locals with flowers and pieces.
I'm wondering what is he holding on his hand?
The thing that is held on the right hand is called 九嘴洲, and this is the announcement that King wants to move the capital from Malu to Thăng Long, because the geometry of Thăng Long location is very good. Because of the back is covered by mountain and the front is facing sea.
One of the reasons that King Lee titles was commemorated is because of his his crucial role in moving the capital to Hanoi. So I'm just gonna go ahead and analyze why it is one of the greatest achievements of his career as a king. The first one is bad omen. He believes that his dynasty would not thrive as long in Hoa Lu, which is where the old capital was located. The last longest dynasty only lasted for 12 years, and he wanted his country, his dynasty, to prosper way longer than that. So that's why he believed in the bad omen of the old land. So that's why he moved it here. Secondly, the geographical profile of Hoa Lu was not suitable for offensive warfare, since it was surrounded by rivers and a lot of ragged mountains, which make it really hard to traverse and to develop transportation. Third, the plains of Hanoi makes it easy for infrastructure to be built, as well as make it easily accessible for civilians who wanted to settle in and make a living here. Third, he wanted to sustain an army, and Hanoi has an abundance of materials, the land to sustain an army, the manpower as well. So, which makes it much easier to sustain an army, because he no longer wanted to defend his country, but instead go on the offensive. The fourth reason was that the Hanoi was intertwined by rivers. Makes it much easier for transportation by water to facilitate, and goods can be transferred up and downstream, which makes Hanoi a key trading hub, with its main advantage being those rivers. That makes transportation way easier, and the plantations along the riverbanks is also very crucial to Hanoi's food supply, since the river provides a stable source of nutrients and make the ground, the soil, really rich and easy for rice to grow. Lastly, is geomancy. So if we actually examine the geographical position of Hanoi on a map, then you can see that the back of Hanoi is guarded by mountains, and the front is open to the sea. So in geomancy and feng shui, which is basically translated to Chinese geomancy, they believe that a location like this is very suitable for growth, and hence why Li Taikou wanted to move the capital to Hanoi. After hearing my presentation about the statue, do you have any question for me?
So I am curious about why the statue is facing the lake.
All right, so from an aesthetic standpoint, we can all agree that it just looks really nice. The founder of the capital is facing against Hoàn Kiếm Lake. And from a geographical standpoint, Hoàn Kiếm Lake is the heart of Hanoi. And when we place the founder of the city, the capital, next to the heart, it just have this striking idea that it's just, I'd say, faithful. You know what I mean? So, and he is also his statue is being placed here so that he can also be commemorated forever.
And when was this statue was built?
I believe that it was built in 2004, and it was forged entirely out of bronze, out of copper, not bronze. Bronze is the color. Copper is the material. Yeah, so I actually got it wrong. But yeah, as you can see, there's not rust, unlike the Statue of Liberty, and they have just applied a lot of, let's say, anti-weathering coating so that it just looks good and does not degrade over time. Moving on to Hoàn Kiếm Lake, as we've got right here. So I'm just going to present to you the legend from which the lake got its name from. Why its name is the Sword Returning Lake. So Lê Thái Tổ, he has a close acquaintance at the camp who really loves fishing, and that is his main livelihood. He catches fish for a living. So one day, during a nightly boating trip, he went out to a local lake. He saw something that's glowing in the dark, something glowing in the water, and when he fished out, he realized that it is an iron slab that is 1 meter in length. So he just doesn't think much about it, but it is quite a rare occurrence, perhaps even mythical, as you can see. So, and after that, he proceeded to put the iron slab into a dark corner of his house. So one day, during the commemoration ceremony of his parents' passing, Lê Thái Tổ actually visited his home to check on his friends, of course. So, but then he actually noticed a bright glow from that dark corner, and then he proceeded to ask him, "What is that?" And he replied that it is an iron slab. So yeah, noticing the magical quality of the iron, he asked for his friend's permission to have it by himself. He agreed. His friend agreed, and he proceeded to have it de-rusted and sharpened to become a blade. However, as you can notice, like right now, the handle of the blade is missing. So where do we find it? This part of the legend got me thinking, but they actually explain it by saying, well, one day it just magically appeared on the king's doorstep, so that's why he got the handle, which led him to believe that the appearance of the sword is due to the heaven's will, hence why he coined that name and assigned it to the sword that he would then go on to use. Heaven's will, of course. And after that, he proceeded to use the sword in the Ming dynasty, in the invasion of the Ming dynasty, and he came out victorious thanks to the sword. After that, to conclude, one day on a boating trip on this lake, he got a, let's say, everything goes normal until from under the water, a turtle appeared. And he introduced himself as the vassal of the Vietnamese Poseidon, which is Kim Quy. He is the god of the sea. The turtle then proceeded to ask for the sword, and later then returned it. Hence why it's got its name as the Sword Returning Lake. The lake in the past have also got 3 different names. The first one is Lục Thủy, which I'll break it down for you. Lục means bright green in Vietnamese, and Thủy means water, because of the water color, which it still retains to this day, is bright green. Secondly, Tà Vọng. So during the Trịnh Dynasty's rule, the lake, when graced to pond from the emperor's palace, got 2 sides. How's that so? The left side is called Tà Vọng, and the right side is called Hiếu Vọng. The Hiếu Vọng segment of the lake was demolished during the Trịnh family rule. During the French colonial rule, to make way for roads and transportation. However, the segment that remains today is named Hiếu Vọng, is the left side. The right side no longer exists anymore. Lastly, we've got Thủy Quân. So this name comes along during the Trần Dynasty, and So the Chen family regularly practiced military drills on the lake. And to break it down, Tui still means bright green, the color of the water. Wen, however, means units in terms of military units, and that's why it's got its name because it serves as a small hub for military, for the Navy's exercise. That's why it's got that name.
Okay, so can you present the information of each total individual in the Swan Lake? What happened to each one and where are they now?
I actually got information on all 4 specimens, and I'm going to talk to you about it. First one actually died on the 2nd of July 1967. Its corpse was subsequently taxidermied and preserved in an ocean tesseract over there. The second one was killed sometime during 1962 and 1967 when it got ashore and climbed to the Li Taido's memorial and was killed by civilians for meat. The third one passed away and was subsequently preserved. The fourth one is currently being preserved in the Museum of Hanoi.
As you see in my back is Hoan Kiem Lake or Hogum Lake. As my partners say in the Li Taido statue, Hogum Lake is the heart of Hanoi and it is surrounded by the old quarter. And the size of this lake is 12 hectares and with the length of 1.75 kilometers long. And you can see in the middle of the lake is the Turtle Tower. The Turtle Tower is a blend between the French and Vietnamese Gothic representing the first 2 floors. And we painted roof with many Vietnamese roof style and many dragons decoration. And the tower stood up 8.8 feet tall. And according to many myths, it is built by Vietnamese people, and it is for the house of the giant turtle that has gave Lele a magical sword that helps him defeat the enemy. And another attraction location to visit on the lake is Ngọc Sơn Temple, and Ngọc Sơn Temple represents the worship of Confucius and Chinese philosophy. And around the Hoan Kiem Lake, there's also many activities like taking pictures, and there's also many people drawing your own portrait, and you can take it home. And there's a lot of surrounding restaurants that you can visit.
Okay, so I can ask you who commissioned this tower?
So, in
And-
my point of knowledge, I think Tháp Bá Hộ Kim has commissioned this tower.
Oh, okay, so when and why he built this?
So I think Tháp Bá Hộ Kim built this tower in 1886 to bury all of his dad remaining of about intermediary between French and Vietnamese during the French colonial.
Now I will you about the heritage house in 87 Hanoi. Although the Hanoi Asian house is a reserved open-air attraction that aims to introduce the Asian architectural and lifestyle of Hanoi. While suggesting the idea of preserving historical and cultural values, the building located at 87 Hanoi is one of 14 traditional houses in Hanoi's old quarter. So Hanoi Asian House, also known as Hanoi Asian House by local people, it was built in the 19th century for residential and business purposes. The owner has changed many times since its construction, but with the efforts of the owner and the government, the house still retains its original structure. Before 1945, the owner was a famous rice merchant. After that, the owner sold the house to a pharmaceutical businessman. This owner lived there for 10 years, then moved elsewhere, leaving the house abandoned for a short time. in the late 50s, and the government allocated the site at 87 families to 5 families. The French and Vietnamese prepared the house in the late 1019 and 90s. All the building materials were kept intact. After the restoration, the Hanoi People's Committee, which is responsible to managing the house and put the house into use as a model of Asian architecture. The house at 87 Mamay was granted a national heritage certification in 2004. And Hanoi Asian house at 87 Mamay Street is an open reserve tourist attraction that introduces the Asian architecture and lifestyle of Hanoi, to suggest the idea of protecting historical and cultural values. Now I will talk about the location and history of the Asian house. The building at 87 Malay Street is one of the 14 traditional houses in Oklahoma. Malay Asian house, also known as an Asian house by local people, was built in the 9th century for traditional and building purpose. And the owner has had many times seen its construction, but with the efforts of the owner and government, the house still retains its original structure. Before 1925, the owner was famous when the owner then sold the house for pharmaceutical building permit. His owner lived there for 10 years, then moved somewhere else, leaving the house abandoned for a short time in the late 50s. The government allocated the site at 87 Malay to 5 families. The French and the Vietnamese repaired the house in the late 80s. All the building material was kept intact. After the restoration, the Hanoi committee responsible for renaming the house into the tourist use as a model of Asian architecture.
Alright, so can you tell me about the Vietnamese architectural details inside this house?
So I know some things. The Vietnamese architecture, like the dorsal, the tile roof, and the wooden bed, and the altar.
Are those details traditional to the Vietnamese culture? How so? I mean, back in the day, people used it a lot, right? Like that's the traditional thing. How people have built back in the day. So how's the tradition? What do you think? Give me your personal opinion.
Very similar with the Vietnamese people. So I think any Asian house always have this. Always have this.
But back in the day, though, yeah. So if we take a look at that little wooden bench, I think it's quite old. Can you tell me more about that little architectural detail?
This architectural detail, this architecture is dorsal. It's called dorsal.
Okay.
And some builders, when we step over the dorsal, our posture will lower. So that can help us show our respect to the owner of this house or the builders, and that can help the bad omen can enter the house and make the luck can go outside.
So, as you can see here, the Asian house in the street Malay 87 is built in late 19th century, and it includes many Vietnamese architecture style, including the layouts and many interior stuff. And it also contains a lot of French architecture, like the wall painting or the wall color. And according to many internet pages, the wall painting is yellow because the French think that Oak Quarter is a sunny street, sunny quarter. So the wall painting in the house would make it beautiful and make it more attractive to many people. And additionally about the ownership, so many years ago, there was a couple, Chinese couple, owned this house to start a vaccine industry, but suddenly they have left the house abandoned because no one was visiting the street that time, and it was literally abandoned water. And from the present time, Vietnamese government has owned this house back for visiting purposes, and Nha Cổ Mã Lây Street 87 has become a visiting location. And there's one small fun fact about this house is there was Giang has tragically be in this house, but she was leaded to the ultimate end, but her soul was trapped in this house, and it has bring many visitors and make the house more attractive. After I have presented many information about this house, do you have any comments?
Comments? No, I don't have any comments.
Questions?
Yeah, questions. So I was actually wondering if, how did the people back in the day collect rainwater? I mean, like, how did they collect fresh water for normal use?
So I think there was a rainwater collection system behind the house, and there was a trail in that system to collect the rainwater falling from the sky.
That's it, but okay, but don't they have any way to store it?
So I think the water from the truck directly transferred into a water tank, so the people can store and use it.
Yeah, but does that make the water 100% safe, or does it have to go to a final step to make it safe for human consumption?
So I think people will put it in a kettle and just like
Boil it?
boil it so it can be fresh.
That's it, that's it.
Okay, so I will introduce about Giang Coffee and Egg Coffee now. So Giang Coffee is a famous coffee shop in Hanoi, Vietnam, for inventing the iconic egg coffee. It's called Cà phê Trứng, found in 1946 by Nguyễn Văn Giang, who was a bartender at the Metropole Hotel, and the cafe developed a unique method to replace milk with egg yolk due to milk shortage during the French colonial period. And the result was a creamy, rich coffee topped with a frothy layer of whisked eggs.
Right, let's talk about the history of coffee. It was first cultivated and regarded as drinkable in the 16th, 15th century in Yemen. And ever since, it has spread throughout the continent, especially in the Middle East. In its initial years, by 16th century, coffee are found all throughout Middle East and North Africa. It was first spread through a Sufi. A Sufi is a person who worship a specific religion in India, and he has smuggled live coffee beans to be cultivated on other continents. After that, coffee continued to spread throughout Europe and Asia. And it continued to boom in popularity because of its energizing attributes and revitalizing the way that it revitalizes a person's mentality to continue his or her work for the day. The first company to import coffee was the Dutch East India Company, who were the first ones to own the first private coffee plantations. As you can see, coffee plantations back in the day are really expensive, and so the Dutch East India Company possessed great wealth and power in order to own an island for their own, which is the Java Island, as we now know today, where coffee was originally planted by them and owned by them exclusively until it was smuggled out. By the 17th century, coffee had spread all throughout America and South America, where it is one of the largest grounds for coffee production, and coffee remained the primary export crops for these Latin American countries. Nowadays, coffee still continues to enjoyed by people all around the world. And Vietnam is a country with deep history with coffee, especially in how we cultivate it and how it's got to be one of our primary driving force for the economy.
So now I talk about egg coffee. Egg coffee is the signature drink made by whisking egg yolk with sugar, robusta coffee, and sweetened condensed milk. It has a starch-like form on top and it is served as a hot or ice. And the flavor is often described as a perfect blend of sweetness, richness, and bitterness. And about the traditional atmosphere, all the cafes has retained a classic Vietnamese coffee house ambience with modest decor and an intimate setting that reflects Hanoi's old world charm. And about the menu, apart from egg coffee, that often serve a variety of Vietnamese beverages like coconut coffee, green bean soup, and other traditional drinks. And the last is cultural significance. That coffee is a cultural landmark in Hanoi and a must visit for local and tourists who want to experience Vietnamese coffee culture. Okay, so egg coffee from Giang coffee has become a symbol of Hanoi's culinary tradition and is widely loved across the country.